Hello? Thank you for being here at this time. Among the countless options out there, the fact that you took a few minutes to listen to this story is not a coincidence. I don't know what you're going through in life. Maybe you are busy, tired, and have many concerns that you don't know how to name. It's also possible you just clicked on it by chance without any special expectations. But if you stay, if you listen to the end, perhaps your heart, somewhere, is still looking for something deeper, more real, and more trustworthy than what this world is offering. Today's story is not to teach or convince you of anything. I just invite you to sit down, listen, the way we listen to an old friend recount something important on a night when no one is in a hurry. And if something makes you tremble inside, then perhaps this is not just a story, it's a reminder, an invitation, a gentle touch from the one who is always waiting for us to return. Have you ever felt like the world was changing, not with a bang, but with vague signs? A line of news that startles you, an unusual rain, an insecurity that is difficult to name, you cannot explain, but you know, something is going on. And maybe the Bible foretold all of this, not to scare you, which leaves you prepared, not to paint a gloomy scenario, but to bring you back to the light, where you can stand firm amidst unpredictable changes. The story you're about to hear is not a scary prophecy, nor is it a far-fetched theory. It was a whisper from a door that was gently closing. Can you feel it? That recently, something is changing. Not noisy, not sudden, but silently, slowly, like the sky changing color before a heavy rain, or a cold feeling that no one can explain. The world is no longer as peaceful as before, but strangely, many people still live as if everything is fine. They go to work, go on social networks, talk about food, drink, and entertainment. They said, surely everything will be fine. But is it really okay? In fact, in recent months, Europe, one of the most stable regions in the world, has officially called on people to make emergency preparations, stockpile food, clean water, flashlights, medicine, toilet paper, enough to last at least 3 days. It's not because they like to make a big deal out of it, but because they know something big is coming. Sounds far-fetched to you, right? Because you're still living a normal life. There is electricity, internet, and food on the supermarket shelves. But did you know, before a storm actually hits, it's usually very calm. What's scary isn't the sound of thunder, but when everything is too quiet. And what's happening in the world right now is the silence before the big storm. The Bible once talked about these things: wars, rumors of war, epidemics, famine, nation against nation. Sound familiar? Because all of that happening at the same time, right now, you can call it a coincidence. But perhaps, deep inside, you also know nothing is random. Our minds often find ways to deny things that cause insecurity. It is a natural self-defense reaction. But the more I try to ignore it, the more obvious the truth becomes. And the truth is, the world is about to enter a period that no one can predict. A new era where every system humans once trusted begins to shake. Maybe you've heard words like end times, prophecy, apocalypse somewhere, and you think it's distant, vague, even superstitious. But if things written thousands of years ago are now appearing in the news every day, then perhaps it's time to reconsider. Not to panic, but to stay awake. Because there is something special about every warning. It always comes before disaster strikes. Just like in the story of Noah, who was foretold of a great flood, when the sky was still clear, the sun was still golden, and everyone was still laughing, partying, and loving as if nothing had happened. People laughed at him. They called him crazy, until it rained. And when the door of the ark closed, no one could enter again. You see, all prophecies are not meant to frighten us. But let me prepare. Not preparing by buying a lot of things to hoard, but preparing with your inner mindset, by living differently. Be more alert, learn more, connect with something deeper than the material. Start with the smallest things. Turn off your time surfing social networks to reread a few pages of the Bible. Instead of complaining every day, ask, what do I need to change? Am I listening? Because it's strange, my friend. The people who really feel the wave coming are not the highly educated, rich, or powerful, but those who know how to stop, know how to listen, know how to look beyond what the eyes see. And if you're listening, maybe you're one of them. Let your heart listen again. Observe what is going on around you, not just with your eyes, but with your intuition. For the signs of the end times do not come with flares, but with gentle but irresistible beats. They are everywhere. Stay in the news, during the storm, in the vague fear of waking up every morning, in the invisible insecurity between seemingly familiar things. There's no time to ignore it anymore. There is no time to wait a little longer before making a change. Time is always the thing people think they have the most of until they no longer have it. The question is not, will it happen? But when it happens, where will you be? In the dark or the light? There is a type of war that the press never covers on the front page. There was no gunfire. There are no tanks. There is no bloodshed in the streets. But that war is taking place every day, every hour, right in the minds and hearts of each person. It is a battle between faith and doubt, between light and darkness, between awareness and delusion. People call it spiritual warfare. In today's world, we have so many things to worry about: prices, jobs, epidemics, wars. But there's too little time to stop and ask, am I really living what I believe? Or are you just chasing temporary things, temporary feelings, easy pleasures? Modern life makes us tired, easily distracted, and easy to forget the most important thing: taking care of our own soul. When the world is busy hoarding instant noodles, buying flashlights, preparing survival items, how many people take the time to hoard faith? How many people take the time to strengthen their inner spiritual strength, the place that will keep them standing when everything around them collapses? We are so good at preparing our bodies, eating, going to the gym, skincare, dressing well, taking beautiful photos. But we are lazy to prepare our souls. Read, study, pray, listen. We prepare for everything except the core inside. But when the real test comes, it's what's inside that decides who will fall and who will stand. Maybe you've asked yourself, if the world really collapses, what can I do? I'm not a leader. I can't change the times. But you know, you don't need to change the world. You just need to change the way you live in this world. Start by understanding the real battle is the battle to keep the faith. Imagine one day you wake up and there is no more internet. News chaos. The store no longer has goods. People were fighting, screaming, scared. In that situation, what keeps you from panicking? Not a phone, not a flashlight. It's an inner peace, something that can only come when you have practiced it before. Like a soldier, no one goes to war without training. And you, how long has it been since you practiced your spirituality? The more chaotic the world, the more inner stability is needed. The outside is never certain, but the inside, if you know how to keep it, will be the safest shelter. I want you to imagine this: two people going through a storm together. A person who has spent many years slowing down, building faith, learning to listen to God's word, learning to forgive, be grateful, love. The other person runs after everything external: money, status, immediate emotions. When the storm comes, who will stay? The answer lies in Who has prepared in advance and prepared the right things? Spirituality is not a distant thing, only for those who practice or live in seclusion. Spirituality is how you face difficulties. It's a choice you make in silence. It's the truth you keep in your heart, even though no one sees it. It's the faith you still keep, even though there's nothing favorable around you. A mother once told me this: "I'm not rich, I'm not highly educated, but every day I read a passage of the Bible, pray before going to work, and teach my children to give thanks before meals." She did not build a nuclear weapon, but she was building a strong spiritual citadel. And she knew that one day it would save her family's lives, not in a physical sense, but in a deeper sense, from losing themselves. You see, this world will always change. But within you, there is one thing that does not change if you know how to keep it. That is the light nature of the soul. And that's what your enemies are trying to take away. Not with guns, but with distractions. They make you spend all day on social networks, on negative news, on arguments. They make you believe that life is just about making money and having fun. They leave you no time to reflect. There is no more time to ask, who am I? What do I believe in? What do I live for? When you lose connection with your spirit, you become weak, easily panicked, and easy to believe whatever you're told. That's when you lose a fight you didn't know you were in, but you can turn the tables. Today, no need to do anything big. Just start with 10 minutes of silence every morning. No phones, no noise, just you and your heart. Or spend 15 minutes every night reading a passage of the Bible, or write a few lines in your journal. What am I grateful for today? What do I need to change? Who have I loved? Or more simply, forgive someone you're angry with. Every small action like that is a brick to rebuild the broken spiritual stronghold in your heart, because you deserve to live strong, not in an against the world kind of way. It's strong in a way. Even if the whole world collapses, you still stand strong in your inner light. You don't need to do it alone. You can start today, right where you are sitting. All you need is a decision. I will not live superficially anymore. I will not lose myself anymore. I will learn to be mindful. I will take care of my soul the way I take care of my hair, my skin, my work. Because in the end, when all the lights go out, the last thing left is the light you have silently kept inside. Have you ever been lost? Not the kind of getting lost in a crowded city, but the kind of lost deep inside when you're still alive, but don't know where you're going. When everything around you is still spinning, still bright, still noisy, but inside you are dark, empty, and tired. In those moments, people begin to search for something beyond reason. A guide, a map, one light. And for so many people over the past 1,000 years, the Bible has been that light. People often think the Bible is just a religious book, only for churches or pastors. But if you take the time to read it, not with a skeptical eye, but with an open heart, you will see something strange. The Bible is not foreign. It's about ourselves, about life today, about this moving world. It does not speak in academic language, nor does it just tell old stories. It is a living map, every word, every paragraph, written thousands of years ago, but terrifyingly true to what you see every day. War has been mentioned. Pandemic, been warned. Moral crisis, social collapse, people losing direction, once written down as a clear prophecy. And you know, what's amazing is not that those events happened, but that they happened at the same time, in the exact order recorded in the Bible. In Matthew 24, a passage considered the apocalyptic map, there is a saying that leaves people speechless. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be when the Son of Man comes. Matthew 24:37. It's short, but deep. Because in Noah's time, people still lived as usual, still getting married, eating, drinking, buying and selling, having fun, until the day the flood came, and all too late. Not because they are evil, it's because they're too busy to listen. The Bible does not come to instill fear, it comes to preparation. Like a map warning that there is a deep abyss ahead, and you need to change direction if you want to live. But sadly, most of us only open the map when we're lost, when life begins to fall apart, when the things we cling to disappear. Have you ever wondered, if today was the last day you were free to prepare, what would you do? No need to do anything big. Just sit down, open a passage of scripture, and let it speak to you. You will realize these are not just words on a page. This is the whisper of one who is patiently waiting for you to awaken. Many people are afraid to read the Bible because they think they won't understand it. But no one understood it first, just like no one learns to swim just by standing and looking at the water. What's important is that you get started. Even if it's just a short paragraph, even if it's just a few minutes. But if you pay attention, you'll see. Every line says something true to yourself. When you see the world in turmoil, the Bible gives you the big picture. When you feel restless, it whispers peace. When you want to give up, it tells the story of people who have fallen, but stood up, thanks to faith. Do you remember Daniel? He was thrown into the lion's den, but was not eaten. Or Esther, an orphan girl who became a queen, using her voice to save the entire nation. Or Joseph, sold by his own siblings, but then became the one who saved the famine in the whole region. And especially Noah, the one who silently built the ark in the middle of the desert, while everyone laughed until the door closed. They all live in chaos, but they believed. And that saved them, not because they are strong, but because they know they need a guide bigger than themselves, just like you and me today. We don't need to know the future, but we need a place to lean on, to understand the meaning of everything that is happening, and to have the strength to stand firm when everything around us begins to crack. And the Bible, if you pay attention, is that compass. Try starting with a simple passage. Psalm 23, for example. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for the Lord is with me. Psalm 23:4. Do you see? In a world full of darkness, what we need is not to avoid the darkness, but to have someone to walk with us through it. The Bible does not promise that you will not encounter difficulties, but it promises you won't be alone. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's enough for a person to become strong again. If you've ever felt tired, lost, or doubted whether you're living the right life, then perhaps the Bible is exactly what you've been looking for, but never opened it. Let's not wait any longer, because when the rain comes, like in the time of Noah, you will need something more certain than money, weapons, or food. You will need an unshakable foundation. And that foundation has been waiting for you all along, on your bookshelf, in your drawer, or even on the phone you hold every day. The Bible is not just a book. It is a message from one who has never left people, no matter what the world is like. The story of Noah did not end when he began building the ark. It really begins when the door closes. It was an unexpected moment. No warning sound, no countdown timer, just an hour clack, as light as breathing, but changes everything. From the outside, people still laugh, still live as if tomorrow will always come. But inside the ark, there was only a small group, those who believed, who prepared, who did not wait until the last minute. And then, the rain started to fall. No one can enter anymore, not because Noah was evil, but because time was running out. The world today is the same. We are living in days when the door is still open, but no one knows when it will close. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next year, maybe as soon as you read this line. We often reassure ourselves with familiar words. Let's figure it out tomorrow. Probably not yet. There's still plenty of time. But are you sure? None of us know the future. And that's not the scariest thing. The real scary thing is knowing that you had a chance but didn't do anything about it. I once heard an older person say, "The things I regret most are not the mistakes I made, but the things I knew, but didn't act on." And I think many of us will see ourselves in that statement. We have been warned. We used to feel like something was wrong. We have all heard a small voice in our hearts say, "Come back." But then, we put it aside. Because busy, because of shyness, because I'm not ready. But you know what? The truth is, there will never be a perfectly ready moment. Life waits for no one. Like Noah's Ark, it doesn't wait until everyone believes. It just waits for the right moment. And when that time comes, everything will change. Not to scare you, but for you to stay awake. Because the worst thing is not the rain. It's that you're standing outside the only ship that can save you. So today, if you are listening to this story, if some part of you feels moved, maybe that is an opportunity, an invitation, a gentle touch from the one who watches over you. Let's not wait any longer. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just need to open your heart, take a small step towards the light, toward the things that are more durable than all the chaos outside. Maybe you don't believe it yet. No problem. Maybe you still have doubts. Still fine. Just start looking, start listening, start asking, what is truly important to me? Because when you ask, you will be led. And when you knock, the door, still open, will be for you. But remember, it won't stay open forever. Noah didn't know how many people would believe him, but he still built ships. Jesus did not force anyone to follow him, but he still stretched his arms out on the cross. And today, you are not forced to believe, but you are invited. Invited to enter a new journey, a new way of life, a deeper preparation, not just for what is to come, but for eternal life itself. This is not a sensational emergency call. This is the whisper of a door closing, slowly, gently, but surely. And the only question remaining is, will you step in before it's too late? Or will you stand outside in regret? Intro. Have you ever felt like the world was changing? Not with a bang, but with vague signs. A line of news that startles you, an unusual rain, an insecurity that is difficult to name. You cannot explain, but you know something is going on. And maybe the Bible foretold all of this, not to scare you, which leaves you prepared, not to paint a gloomy scenario, but to bring you back to the light, where you can stand firm amidst unpredictable changes. The story you're about to hear is not a scary prophecy, nor is it a far-fetched theory. It was a whisper from a door that was gently closing. The world may be in turmoil. The news can be filled with negativity. But even in that chaos, there was still an open door, a gentle, patient invitation, but it doesn't last forever. The question is no longer, is it true? It is, what will I do with what I just heard? You don't need to do anything big. Just stop, listen, and start walking towards the light. Because sometimes lives are not saved by a big thing, but by a small, timely decision. The door is still open, and you still have time. But don't wait until the sound of rain falls to start looking for a train. Introduction. Hello? Thank you for being here at this time. Among the countless options out there, the fact that you took a few minutes to listen to this story is not a coincidence. I don't know what you're going through in life. Maybe you are busy, tired, and have many concerns that you don't know how to name. It's also possible you just clicked on it by chance, without any special expectations. But if you stay, if you listen to the end, perhaps your heart, somewhere, is still looking for something deeper, more real. and more trustworthy than what this world is offering. Today's story is not to teach or convince you of anything. I just invite you to sit down, listen, the way we listen to an old friend recount something important, on a night when no one is in a hurry. And if something makes you tremble inside, then perhaps this is not just a story. It's a reminder, an invitation, a gentle touch from the one who is always waiting for us to return. The world may be in turmoil. The news can be filled with negativity. But even in that chaos, there was still an open door, a gentle, patient invitation, but it doesn't last forever. The question is no longer, is it true? It is, what will I do with what I just heard? You don't need to do anything big. Just stop, listen, and start walking towards the light. Because sometimes lives are not saved by a big thing, but by a small, timely decision. The door is still open, and you still have time. But don't wait until the sound of rain falls to start looking for a train.